especially knowing what has been said about Gervonta behind the scenes for years that nobody brings out, and it kind of brings to light why they keep matching him with 15 and 20 to 1 underdogs. There is a rumor that behind the scenes, the Gervonta, there's a lot of bitch in him. There's a lot of front runner in him. If you push him, he will break, he will fold. It starts to add up because Loman is from the D.C. area. They kind of know this. They grew up around him. They fought in the amateurs.
His father, who's his coach, has coached Gervonta in fights.
So that thing sort of comes to light where it's been held back from the public with the limited opposition level that Gervonta's fought most of his career. So having said that, you don't want to start too fast. You want to measure your pressure and bring it out because you know already what you're dealing with. You're dealing with a guy that you know you'll bring the bitch out of him as the fight wears on. And you kind of started seeing that Gervonta fouling. There's an interpretation that he was trying to bite at one time. I don't really see it, but I've seen a lot of people in the comments saying he was trying to bite at one time.
Shoulder strike.
Then the taking
all right. So you're saying he has to start that earlier.
But here's the thing. If you started earlier, you're still dealing with a physically talented. Gervonta Davis is mentally weak, but he's physically talented. So
Paulie,
the way you get a front runner is you drag him to the late rounds. Yeah. So you don't want to take all the chances early on. Especially if the front runner can punch.
So that was Paulie Malignaggi stating that Gervonta Davis has the B word in him, which is crazy to say just because Gervonta ended up with a draw against Lamont Roach, who is a good fighter. I mean, we're not going to act like Lamont Roach wasn't a champion at 130 pounds and he had a brilliant game plan, which he executed, so credit goes to Lamont Roach. But to say that Gervonta has B word in him all because Lamont Roach fought a great fight, that's a crazy take simply because Gervonta didn't quit. Even when Gervonta took a knee, he received a lot of backlash for that. However, when he got up, he won the round. He fought like a champion. He showed the heart inside of him. Tank showed the dog in him, not the B word in him. Like Paulie tried to act as if Gervonta folded, which that's the farthest thing from the truth. Gervonta fought back. Yeah, he over-complained to the ref. Yeah, he took a knee. Yeah, he threw low blows against Lamont Roach. Yeah, he shoulder bumped his face. Yeah, he tried to bite him. Outside of complaining to the ref, a lot of that is veteran tactics to get Lamont Roach out of his game. And he wasn't successful. But to say he has B word in him, even though Gervonta fought back every time in a great skillful matchup that was highly entertaining, and never during the fight he quit. You can't say that. Now you can say Gervonta lacks confidence because he doesn't want to fight the best, but you can't say he has B word in him simply due to the fact Paulie Malignaggi never said that about Duran, who actually quit during a fight. He never said that about Lomachenko, who was afraid to engage with Teofimo Lopez. He never said that about a lot of fighters that actually quit in the ring, such as Chavez Sr. We have yet to see Gervonta quit in the ring. So how are you going to say some crazy stuff like that? That's exactly what you call being overcritical to the fighters on the coincidental list. That's what Paulie was doing. Just because he can get away with it due to Gervonta receiving a lot of backlash for his performance against Lamont Roach. You got to give credit where credit is due. Gervonta fought a great fight, but Lamont Roach fought even a better fight. It was Lamont Roach who did that. So let's not take credit away from Lamont Roach. As far as Gervonta, like I said before, you can say he doesn't have a lot of confidence because we've seen signs of Gervonta not showing confidence. And I'm not even talking about the Lamont Roach fight. I'm talking about years back when Gervonta was going back and forth with Floyd Mayweather over him setting him up for a fight.
Gervonta Tank Davis. And if Gervonta Tank Davis win that fight, I already spoke to Ty DeBuff from Top Rank. We look forward to Adrian Broner. We look forward to Gervonta Tank Davis fighting Lomachenko after this fight. We know Tank fights in April. Lomachenko fights in May. I already spoke to Top Rank, Ty DeBuff, and we're going to make that fight happen between Lomachenko and Gervonta Davis.
A lot of news tonight. Got your promoter hat on as well.
Thank you.
I
said I beat everybody in there.
That's how I was looking. I was mad. Y'all trying to set me up. I mean, I've been in a situation where, though, like, you know, I was in a lose-lose situation. Now, what came out still on top.
With Floyd? We said, what was the lose-lose situation? What you mean?
Just a little situation that he put me in to, you know, make me lose. But he thought I was going to lose. But
You talking about like a boxing match or?
Yeah, boxing match.
Ooh, if you don't mind. If you don't want to, it's
Pedraza.
fine.
Joseph Pedraza, my first world title. I was 16-0. I was 21 at the time. And I haven't fought in like 7 or 8 months. And around that time, I wasn't making that much money. I probably was making like $10,000 a fight. So 6 months is crazy to not fight, you know. So when they came back and it was like, all right, you gotta fight. He was like, you gotta fight this fighter, which is Joseph Pedraza. If you don't fight him, you're not fighting. You're like sitting on a shelf. So I had to fight him. In the midst of all that happened, I got evicted. I had to sell my jewelry. So now,
do you think Floyd did that intentionally?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Why? After so much time, after like, I guess, again, after what we think he helped you come into the game, he gave you the spotlight. Like, why would he try to diminish your career?
Because at that time, I don't want to go too deep into it because I don't want to bring up but it was somehow that they were saying that I was messing with his daughter off of the fact that she kept Snapchatting me.
Okay.
She kept hitting me on the Snapchat. So they sent it to Floyd, and Floyd bugged out.
Okay.
So that's what made it like.
And you think that was a downfall of y'all career? I mean, y'all.
No, it was
relationship,
a downfall.
not career.
Yeah,
relationship.
It wasn't a downfall of my career. I mean, our relationship, because it was more things that he was doing. Like,
Tank never said anything like that until Floyd Mayweather went on the mic and demanded for Gervonta to fight Lomachenko at the time. I believe Gervonta was like 22 years old back then. And all of a sudden, he came out stating that Floyd Mayweather tried to set him up, not for the Lomachenko fight, but for the Pedraza fight. Now, what didn't make a lot of sense or any sense at all is the timing of Gervonta claiming that Floyd Mayweather wanted to set him up. Because he only said that once Floyd Mayweather wanted him to fight Lomachenko. I don't know if they were beefing or whatnot, because Gervonta was hanging out with AB and he wasn't focused. Either way, whatever it was, that's when Gervonta began stating that Floyd tried to set him up for the Pedraza fight. However, he didn't say it before he fought Pedraza or after he fought Pedraza. He only said that a year or two later, once Floyd Mayweather said he wanted to make the Lomachenko fight and he already called Top Rank to do so. So it made it seem like Gervonta felt Floyd Mayweather was trying to set him up for the Lomachenko fight. Not necessarily the Pedraza fight, because the Pedraza fight, stylistically, that was a great opportunity and it was for a title. I mean, either way you look at it, even if Gervonta felt that Floyd was trying to set him up for the Pedraza fight, that showed a lack of confidence on Gervonta's end. How you gonna believe Floyd wants to set you up to fight a champion? That's supposed to be an opportunity, especially when you've been ready. More importantly, a champion that's not unbeatable, a champion that is hittable, is beatable, and is not even on Gervonta's skill level. When Gervonta fought him, he showed it. So how you gonna believe somebody like Pedraza is a fighter that Floyd tried to set you up with when Gervonta already had more than 15 fights at the time? You see, it's one thing if Floyd Mayweather wanted Gervonta to fight Terrence Bud Crawford for his first title. Then I can see why Gervonta will even think like that. But Pedraza, someone Gervonta can beat in his sleep, This shows once again that Gervonta is not confident in his skill. Remember, Muhammad Ali fought the Mike Tyson of his time, Sonny Liston, when he was only 22 years old. Devin Haney called out Lomachenko and tried to fight him at 20 years old. Devin Haney was Lomachenko mandatory and forced Loma to vacate his title because Loma wanted no parts of Devin. Then Devin ended up fighting Lomachenko at 23 and beat him. Meanwhile, Gervonta at 22, 23 years old is claiming Floyd wants to set him up against Pedraza. That's even worse than Lomachenko because Pedraza ain't even all that. At least Lomachenko had more skills, way more skills than Pedraza, which showed lack of confidence. This is what Paulie called Gervonta has B-word in him. But he didn't say that about Lomachenko when he avoided Shakur and Gervonta because he wasn't confident that he can beat them and chose to retire instead. Paulie didn't say, oh, Lomachenko has B-word in him and he's showing it because he doesn't have the confidence to fight Shakur or Gervonta and chose retirement instead just to duck these fighters. He didn't say that because Loma has the complexion for the connection to get the ultimate protection. But when it comes to Gervonta, because he has the complexion for the neglection, it's the gloves off when it comes to him. Forget about saying he's not confident. He said he has B-word in him. Furthermore, when it comes to Gervonta, apparently when he sparred Devin Haney at the doghouse, that really hurt his confidence because after that, he really didn't believe in himself or his skill level. Recently, he said that he's more skillful than all the fighters in boxing today, even Floyd. Then he caught himself. He said, nah, I'm hand to hand with Floyd. But the fact that Gervonta has more power than pretty much nearly all the fighters in boxing, and he believes he has more skill than all of them, but he doesn't want to fight the best fighters in boxing, the likes of Shakur, Keyshawn, Devin Haney, or even the Teofimo Lopez of the world, shows that Gervonta lacked confidence. Because if he didn't, he would have had fought Lomachenko when he was supposed to. I mean, back then, old media was erasing Lomachenko loss. They put him as pound for pound number one. It was the perfect time for the taking, but he allowed Tio to do it. Now, at that time, before Loma lost to Tio, Gervonta did come out and say he wanted to fight him. However, it was Lomachenko who avoided Gervonta back in 2019, 2018, or 2020. But that's what I'm talking about. Before that, when Gervonta was like 22, 23 years old, he was partying too much, out of shape. I mean, we've seen that with his performance against Gamboa. And that's why Loma really wanted to fight him back then, because he saw that Gervonta wasn't focused. Now, Gervonta, on the other hand, outside of him being not focused, he was also believing old media, hyping Lomachenko up, claiming that he was greater than Muhammad Ali. But that's where the lack of confidence comes in. Instead of him wanting to beat this guy who is better than Muhammad Ali, according to old media, he ended up believing old media. Until Lomachenko started looking flawed, the more he stepped up in competition. Then he ended up getting beat once he fought fighters that weren't sea level. Lomachenko was only looking unbeatable when he was fighting sea level fighters. The moment he stepped up against fighters that weren't sea level, like Salido, he got beat. Like Teofimo Lopez, like Devin Haney, he got beat. Even Jermaine Ortiz, if you go back and watch the fight, Jermaine Ortiz beat the crap out of Lomachenko. And I didn't hear Paulie say that Lomachenko had beaten him because of that. Since Jermaine Ortiz beat him, that was a clear robbery. Either way, after Gervonta underperformed against Lamar Roach, let's see how he does in the rematch. And let's see what he does after that. He has Loma, Shakur, Keyshawn, and even Teofimo Lopez and Devin Haney fights. These are significant fights for Gervonta, the fights that he needs to take before he retires. All that retirement talk is already out of the window, according to Tank himself. However, Gervonta can't go back to fighting the same level of opposition he's been facing. He needs to fight his rivals. That's what he has to do for his own legacy. At the moment in time, Tank has a microscope on him. He can no longer say, you guys got to prove yourselves to fight me, then goes around to fight other fighters that didn't prove themselves over his own rivals. That's not going to fly. And if it does fly, it ain't going to sell on pay-per-view, as Gervonta pay-per-view numbers has been declining. However, the Lamont Roach fight, the rematch especially, is going to sell more than the first fight, obviously, because people saw that Lamont Roach nearly beat Gervonta, if not beat him, all thanks to the referee Steve not counting Gervonta taking a knee as a knockdown, especially after he started counting. Last but not least, when it comes to the misconception that Floyd Mayweather was the one who blocked the Lomachenko fight, that's not necessarily true. You guys got to look at the timeline. Floyd Mayweather only started saying Gervonta is not ready. He's too young. Gervonta is only 22, 23. How old is Loma? He's what, 30 years old? We got time. Time is on our side. Floyd Mayweather only started saying that once he squashed his beef with Gervonta. Whenever Floyd was cool with Gervonta, he knew Gervonta at that time didn't want to fight Loma. So he said that to protect Gervonta, since he didn't want to piss Tank off. However, the moment Gervonta stopped listening to Floyd, or they had some type of disagreement or beef again, that's when Floyd Mayweather started pushing for the Lomachenko fight again. And he even tried to make that fight on more than one occasion. All of a sudden, Gervonta came out stating that Floyd is trying to set him up like he did for the Pedraza fight. Gervonta tried to make it seem like he was talking about the Pedraza fight when he was really talking about the Lomachenko fight all along. Since the timing of it all, Tank only said that once Floyd pushed for the Lomachenko fight, not the Pedraza fight. However, to be fair to Gervonta, it was only 1 or 2 years when Gervonta was stating that he was not ready or he was not interested in the Lomachenko fight when he was around 22, 23. And that was more so due to him partying too much with Adrian Broner, not being focused and things of that sort. However, once Gervonta was like 24 years old and over, he was actually calling out Lomachenko heavy, and his team contacted Top Rank and Bob Arum to make the fight. And it was Lomachenko who turned down the fight on more than one occasion before he even lost to Teofimo Lopez. Loma was making pathetic excuses like, why you want to fight me now? I tried to fight you last year or when I was at 130 pounds. You don't have a title. I want to fight for the titles. And I heard him say, we can make the fight on pay-per-view. What are you talking about? You're not a pay-per-view star. He was making all these excuses to why he don't want to fight Gervonta because he don't have a title. He's not a pay-per-view star. This, that, and the third. And he pretty much ducked the fight. But old media don't point that out. That Loma was only wanting to fight Gervonta when he wasn't focused for like 1 year time span. And after that, he ducked Gervonta before he even lost to Teo. And now, Gervonta is a pay-per-view star. He has a title. Even then, after Lomachenko's own excuses got debunked, he still ducked Gervonta by retiring. And we know he didn't retire simply because he's still holding on to his IBF belt for like a year now. All that retirement talk is nothing but duck talk. That's for sure. That being said, go ahead and drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Hopefully after Lomachenko saw Gervonta's performance against Lamont Roach, that gives him the cojones, or he grows enough cojones after watching that fight to fight Gervonta, which most likely that's going to be the case. Subscribe below. And to be continued on the next episode of Akhi, Akhi TV. Peace out. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
So, I always said I'm open for the fight, but you know boxing politics, you know we have different promoters.
One potential opponent is Gervonta Davis. He's a new champion at 130. Would you want to fight him next if it came up?
I don't know. For me, he is not interesting because for what? For what? Money?
Big money?
Do you want me to throw out the picture?
No.
Now when I move up at 135, now he want to fight with me, and I read he won the fight only on pay-per-view. Hey, what are you talking about? You never has a main event. You fight only co-main event. What are you talking about? Какой это будет, как сказать, какой pay-per-view?
What kind of a pay-per-view is that going to be?
Pay-per-view you're talking about?